The secret to winning in your 70s. They say aging is a slow decline, a quiet surrender to time. They say turning 70 means stepping back, fading into the background, and letting the world move on without you. But they are wrong, because if you're here, if you're still standing, still pushing, still refusing to let life slip through your fingers, then you're already ahead of the game. Today, we're talking about 6 undeniable signs that prove you haven't just made it to 70, you've mastered it. 6 things that separate those who merely exist from those who truly live. 6 things that, if you can still do them, mean you're not just aging, you're winning. And trust me, most people don't have all 6. So don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand. And if you're already doing these things, then it's time to own it, celebrate it, and keep pushing forward. Before we jump in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chance to level up your life. Smash that like button if you're ready to defy expectations. And most importantly, drop a comment below. Which of these 6 things do you still have in you? Now let's get to it. 1. Laughing often and finding humor in life. Have you ever noticed that the older you get, the less you laugh? Think about it. When was the last time you laughed so hard that your stomach hurt? The kind of laugh that makes you forget, just for a moment, all the stress and worries of life. But did you know that laughter isn't just about feeling happy in the moment? It's actually a secret weapon for living longer, staying healthier, and feeling more alive. Scientists have found that laughter releases endorphins, the body's natural, feel-good chemicals. It lowers stress, strengthens the immune system, and even helps with pain tolerance. But if laughter is so good for us, why do so many people stop laughing as they age? I used to laugh at everything. Silly mistakes, funny moments, even at myself. But at some point, life became more serious. Responsibilities piled up, challenges came one after another, and suddenly, laughter felt like something rare. I didn't even notice when it started fading, but one day, I realized I couldn't remember the last time I truly laughed. Then I met a woman in her 70s who changed my perspective completely. Despite facing health struggles and personal losses, she had this incredible ability to find humor in everything. One day, she told me something that stuck with me. If I stop laughing, that's when I start aging. She wasn't talking about numbers, she meant something much deeper. For her, laughter was a sign of resilience, a refusal to let life's difficulties take away her joy. That made me think, maybe we don't just age because of time, we age because we stop finding joy in the little things. Studies show that people with a good sense of humor live longer, have healthier hearts, and even maintain sharper minds as they age. A simple laugh can reduce the risk of memory loss and depression. It's like a natural medicine, free and available anytime we choose to use it. But here's the problem. Most people don't make that choice. Stress, responsibilities, and daily struggles take over, and before we know it, laughter becomes something we experience less and less. But humor isn't just about jokes or comedy, it's in the small, everyday moments. I've realized that when I actively look for things to smile about, whether it's watching a funny movie, remembering an old joke, or even laughing at my own mistakes, I feel lighter. The world hasn't changed, but my perspective has. Surrounding yourself with people who know how to laugh also makes a huge difference. Have you ever noticed how one person's laughter can spread? Being around positive, lighthearted people encourages us to do the same. So, what about you? When was the last time you truly laughed? Try something right now. Find a reason to laugh today. Watch something funny, recall a happy memory, or share a joke with a friend. And if you want to make someone else's day a little brighter, leave a comment below about something that made you smile. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because life is short, and a little more laughter might just make all the difference. 2. Climbing stairs without gasping for air. Have you ever found yourself hesitating at the sight of a staircase? Maybe you instinctively look for an elevator, or tell yourself it's not worth the effort. But what if I told you that something as simple as climbing a few flights of stairs could reveal more about your health than you realize? There was a time I visited an old friend, Joe, who lived on the 3rd floor of a building with no elevator. The moment I stepped inside, I saw the sign, "Elevator out of order." A small part of me considered turning back, but then I thought, I've climbed mountains, walked miles along the beach. Surely 3 flights of stairs won't defeat me? So, I took a deep breath and started my ascent, steady but determined. By the time I reached his door, I wasn't gasping for air or clinging to the wall like I might have a few years ago. Joe grinned and said, "Still got it, huh?" That moment made me realize, good health isn't about how old you are, but how much of life you can still embrace. Scientists have studied this for years, and the results are fascinating. Researchers at Harvard found that people who can climb at least 4 flights of stairs without stopping have a much lower risk of heart disease. Another study in Europe showed that regularly choosing stairs could reduce the risk of early death by nearly 40%. It's such a simple habit, yet the benefits are incredible. But here's the reality. This ability doesn't come naturally as we age. After 70, lung capacity declines, the heart works harder, and muscles weaken if we don't stay active. Ever climbed a short flight of stairs and felt your heart pounding a little too hard? That's not just aging, it's your body quietly reminding you that it needs movement. The good news? You can change that. You don't need to train like an athlete to improve your endurance. Small, consistent habits make all the difference. A simple rule? Don't avoid stairs, embrace them. If you can, choose to climb even 1 floor instead of taking the elevator. Walk daily, starting with short distances and increasing over time. And if your knees protest, swimming and cycling are great alternatives. They strengthen your heart without putting pressure on your joints. But the real challenge isn't physical, it's mental. I know people who start avoiding places with stairs, skipping outings, not because they physically can't handle it, but because they think they can't. The moment you stop challenging yourself, your body starts to decline. It's not the stairs that are hard, it's the fear of trying. But if you give your body the chance, it will surprise you. So the next time you're faced with a few flights of stairs, don't focus on the effort. Focus on what's waiting at the top. The friends you'll meet, the stories you'll share, the memories you'll make. Because staying healthy isn't just about how many steps you can climb. It's about making sure nothing holds you back from the life you want to live. And what about you? When was the last time you chose the stairs? Comment. 1. If you're ready to take the challenge, or 0, if you tend to avoid them. And when your body is still strong, maintaining balance becomes even more important. In fact, good balance is a sign of overall health and the ability to stay steady in daily life. 3. Balancing on one leg for 10 seconds. Try standing on one leg for 10 seconds. Sounds easy, right? But the moment you lift your foot, you might feel a wobble, a slight shift in balance, maybe even a quick grab for support. That's what happened to me the first time I tried. I planted one foot, lifted the other, and immediately reached for the back of a chair. Instead of getting frustrated, I laughed. That's the thing about aging. You learn to take these moments in stride. The body changes, but the mindset? That's something you can control. What seems like a simple challenge actually reveals a lot about your health. A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that people in their 70s who could balance on one leg for at least 10 seconds were 50% less likely to experience serious health issues. It's not just about strength. Balance involves coordination, neurological function, and the ability to keep your body in sync. And when it starts to decline, risks increase. Falls become more common, and for older adults, they can lead to serious complications. But here's the good news. Balance is something you can train, just like a muscle. Take my friend Carl. In his 80s, he moved with the kind of stability that most younger people would envy. One morning, I watched him put on his socks while standing on one foot, no wobbling, no hesitation. I laughed and said, "Carl, some of us have to sit down for that." He grinned and replied, "You've got to keep practicing if you want to keep going like this." And that's exactly what he did. Every day, he worked on small exercises, standing on one leg, shifting his weight, stretching. Over time, those little efforts added up. Balance isn't something you think about until you start to lose it. But maintaining it doesn't require a major lifestyle overhaul, just a little consistency. Start small. Try standing on one leg for a few seconds while holding onto a sturdy chair or counter. If that feels challenging, that's okay. The key is to build strength and confidence over time. Work your way up to 10 seconds, then 15. If that becomes easy, try closing your eyes for an extra challenge. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Looking for something structured? Yoga and Tai Chi are excellent for balance, flexibility, and mental clarity. These aren't high-impact workouts. They're about controlled movement, awareness, and stability. You don't need to be an expert to start. Just a few minutes a day can make a difference. Another way to improve balance? Strengthening your core. No need for crunches or intense workouts. Even engaging your stomach muscles while walking helps. A strong core acts as your body's natural stabilizer, making everyday movements smoother and reducing the risk of falls. It's one of those small but powerful habits that keep you steady over time. Balance isn't just about standing on one leg. It's about keeping your body and mind in sync, moving through life with confidence, and ensuring nothing holds you back. Try it now. Lift one foot and see how long you can hold it. If you can make it to 10 seconds, that's a great sign. If not, start practicing today. Every second counts because every step forward keeps you moving toward a stronger, steadier future. Can you balance on one leg for 10 seconds? Comment 1 if you can, or 0 if you're working on it. Let's keep moving together. Just like physical health, our minds need exercise to stay sharp. One simple way to exercise your memory is by trying to recall what you ate yesterday. It's a fun habit and a good way to keep your mind active. 4. Remembering what you ate yesterday. Try recalling what you ate yesterday. Go on, take a moment. The details might come easily, or maybe they slip away, just out of reach. I stood in my kitchen last week, staring at an empty plate, trying to do exactly that. It should have been simple. And yet, the memory drifted like fog in the morning sun. That's when I laughed, because at 77, you either find humor in these little lapses, or you drive yourself crazy trying to fight them. Memory isn't just about recalling meals or tracking down misplaced reading glasses. It's a measure of brain health, a reflection of how well our neural pathways stay connected. Scientists have found that being able to remember what you ate yesterday isn't just a trivial exercise. It's a sign that your brain is staying active. In fact, research from Harvard suggests that engaging in simple recall activities, like this one, can help slow cognitive decline. The brain, much like a muscle, thrives on use. The more you exercise it, the stronger it remains. I had a friend, Joe, who could remember meals from half a century ago as if he had just eaten them. That lobster roll in Maine back in '78? Best thing I ever had, he'd say, closing his eyes like he could taste it again. His secret? He never let his mind go idle. Every morning, he'd challenge himself with a crossword, read something new, or recount stories from his past, sometimes to the unfortunate ears of his long-suffering wife, who had heard them all before. But here's the thing. His mind stayed sharp, even into his late 80s. Now, I'm not Joe. I don't have his steel trap memory, but I've learned over the years that we can all take small, simple steps to keep our brains engaged. One of the easiest? Try remembering your previous meal before you sit down for your next one. It's a small habit, but one that strengthens recall over time. Of course, memory isn't just about mental exercises. It's also about what we put into our bodies. Foods rich in antioxidants, like berries, nuts, and fatty fish, have been shown to help protect the brain from age-related decline. I've started making a habit of eating a handful of walnuts every morning, not because I expect to remember every little detail, but because I'd like to keep my wits about me for as long as possible. Socializing also plays a surprisingly large role. Engaging in conversation forces the brain to retrieve words, recall past experiences, and stay active. A simple chat with a friend can be as beneficial as a puzzle. I make it a point to call someone every day, even if it's just a short debate about whether coffee is good for longevity. It is, by the way. Science backs me up on that one. So, if you ever struggle to remember what was on your plate yesterday, don't panic. Take it as a gentle reminder to give your brain the care it deserves. Read something new, challenge yourself with a memory game, and maybe, just maybe, savor each meal a little more. After all, the more we appreciate what we eat, the easier it is to remember it. And if all else fails, write it down. Your future self will thank you. At the end of the day, it's not about how much we remember, but how well we live in the moments we have. So enjoy each meal, cherish each conversation, and let those little details fill your heart, not just your memory. Do you think memory exercises help? Drop a 1 if you do, or a 0 if you feel it's just part of aging. Like the brain, our spirits also need nurturing through strong social connections. Building and maintaining relationships not only boosts mental health but also keeps us emotionally engaged in life. 5. Maintaining friendships and social connections. The people around you shape your life more than you realize. Every conversation, every shared moment, every connection adds to the richness of your days. But as time passes, friendships change, loved ones move away, and the once busy world can start to feel a little quieter. Maybe you've noticed it, how the phone rings less often, how familiar faces aren't as present as they used to be. The truth is, staying connected takes effort, but it's one of the most valuable investments you can make in your well-being. I used to be so focused on goals, getting things done, moving on to the next task, that friendships were often pushed to the side. It wasn't that I didn't value people, I just assumed they would always be there. But as I got older, I started to understand something I had overlooked for years. It's not just what you accomplish that matters, it's who you share your life with. The moments spent in good company, the laughter, the conversations, those are the things that truly give life meaning. Loneliness is more than just an emotional struggle, it has real consequences. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that 30% of adults over 70 experience loneliness, and it's been linked to depression, cognitive decline, and even heart disease. Researchers have found that loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In contrast, people with strong social ties tend to live longer, healthier lives. Look at Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's blue zones, where people regularly live past 100. Their secret? It's not just their diet, it's their community. They form lifelong social circles, known as moai, where friends support one another through all of life's changes. It's proof that meaningful relationships don't just bring joy, they help keep you alive. But here's the good news. You don't need a large circle of friends to feel connected. Even small efforts make a big difference. A simple phone call, a short visit, a shared meal. These moments create bonds that strengthen both the heart and the mind. Keeping relationships alive isn't about grand gestures, it's about consistency. It's about reaching out, making time, and showing up, even in small ways. So don't wait for someone else to make the first move. Be the one who reaches out. Call an old friend, invite someone for coffee, join a local group. If your circle has shrunk, don't be afraid to expand it. Friendship has no age limit. Some of the best connections are formed later in life, when we finally have the time to nurture them. When was the last time you reconnected with an old friend? Comment 1. If you'll make the call today, or 0, if you think it's been too long. Connecting with loved ones can inspire us to take better care of ourselves. One of the best ways to nurture ourselves is through cooking, an act that shows self-care and love for our well-being. 6. Cooking for yourself. Cooking isn't just about making food, it's about independence, creativity, and self-care. Every time you step into the kitchen, whether to prepare a simple meal or try something new, you're doing more than just feeding yourself. You're staying engaged, making choices, and taking control of your well-being. But as time goes on, it's easy to slip into convenience. Maybe takeout becomes the default, or meals become repetitive and uninspired. That shift happens so gradually that you don't even notice, until one day, cooking feels more like a chore than a pleasure. I used to think of cooking as just another task, something to check off the list. But over the years, I've come to see it differently. Cooking, in its simplest form, is an act of self-reliance. It's a way of saying, I can still take care of myself. A Swedish study even found that older adults who cooked their own meals had a 25% lower risk of chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes. That's a powerful reason to keep at it. It's not just about the food itself, but the impact it has on your health, your mobility, and your sense of independence. I once knew a man in his mid-80s who still baked his own bread from scratch. His hands, though aged, moved with confidence as he worked the dough, kneading and shaping it with practiced ease. When I asked him why he still put so much effort into it, he smiled and said, "It keeps my hands strong and my mind sharper." For him, baking wasn't just about the end result. It was about the process, the satisfaction of creating something from nothing. When he pulled a golden loaf from the oven, the pride in his eyes was unmistakable. That was his way of staying engaged with life, of proving to himself that he still had control over something important. Cooking does more than nourish the body, it keeps you connected to the present. The sound of a knife slicing through fresh vegetables, the warmth of a stove, the scent of herbs filling the air. These are small reminders that you are still an active participant in your own life. And the best part? You don't need to be a master chef to benefit from it. Even preparing something simple, like chopping ingredients for a salad or stirring a pot of soup, keeps your hands moving and your mind engaged. If meals have started to feel dull or uninspiring, shake things up. Try a new recipe, experiment with different flavors, or cook something you've never attempted before. The joy of cooking isn't in achieving perfection. It's in the process, in the small victories of making something for yourself. And if you have the opportunity, share a meal with others. Cooking for someone else turns a routine task into a moment of connection, a way to show care and strengthen bonds. So, roll up your sleeves, dust off an old recipe, or create something entirely new. Every meal you make is a quiet act of self-care, a way to remind yourself that you are still in control of your health and happiness. And who knows, you might just rediscover the simple joy of creating something with your own hands. It's not about being perfect, it's about enjoying the process, one meal at a time. What's your favorite meal to cook for yourself? Drop a 1 if you love experimenting in the kitchen, or a 0 if you're ready to start cooking more often. As we've seen throughout these stories, life doesn't stop when we hit a certain age. In fact, it's a chance to discover new joys, embrace resilience, and continue finding strength in the little things. Whether it's through laughter, climbing stairs with ease, maintaining balance, keeping our minds sharp, nurturing friendships, or cooking for ourselves. The key to thriving in our later years is staying active in every way we can, physically, mentally, and emotionally. These simple practices aren't just tasks. They're opportunities to keep living fully, to keep growing, and to stay connected with both ourselves and the world around us. So, I encourage you to take these lessons to heart and start making small changes today. Whether it's laughing a little more, challenging yourself with stairs, or picking up a new recipe, every step counts. The joy and vitality you seek are within reach. Take action, and you'll see just how rewarding it can be. If you found this helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who might benefit from it, and drop a comment below. Let me know which of these habits you're ready to start today, whether it's laughter, balance, or something else. I'd love to hear how you're embracing life. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Take care, and keep making every moment count.